So let's talk.
Let's talk. In victory we win. In victory we win.
Hey guys, it's your girl Latoya Renee, and you're tuning into Sister Can We Talk, the men's takeover edition to the show. The show will have the men tell their point of view as well as their testimonies to inspire and motivate us to believe in the impossible. Today I have a special guest in the building, Pastor Cobie Nesbitt from Truth in Love Ministries from here in Jacksonville, Florida. Let's give it up. Yes! I love your family. I love what you stand for as far as your family and your ministry. Let's go ahead and start off with your testimony as with your family.
Well, my family testimony. First and foremost, let me say I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be on your platform.
Yes.
My family's testimony kind of starts with, of course, my wife and I, who does not remember me from high school, but we went to First Coast together, First Coast High School here locally in Jacksonville, Florida, and she was a couple of grades ahead of me. I went there 9th and 10th grade, and I was trying to be noticed by her, but we rode the same bus 122, baby. But she don't remember me at all.
I was going to say, so Lady Nesbitt didn't?
No, she was actually involved with someone else who happened to be one of my friends, and I would tell him all the time, "I'm gonna take your old lady." And so he actually remembers that, and we mess around with each other about that. So I'm grateful for that. So fast forward several years, we our paths crossed again. I was working at Eckerd Pharmacy on Dunn Avenue. She was working at Bank of America on Dunn Avenue. She would frequent the store, and she claimed I said to her every time I saw her, the same thing.
What was that?
You still work across the street? But that's not what I was saying. I was just dropping lines and just being.
Hold on, so that was the line?
No, that's from her perspective. Her perspective, I was saying the same thing over and over again. But from my perspective, it's more. I was splitting that tech, that game, laying it down, Pepe Le Pew, whatever it is you want to say. I mean, I had a way with my words.
Right.
And so from that, we, just in passing, I found out who her mother was. That's how
you got in.
That's how I got in. Got in through her mom. My mom came in the store and several times, and then one particular time she rented a carpet machine or a rug doctor, and I gave her the 5-star Eckerd drug treatment. I wrote down all the information for her, took it to the car, put it in the car for her, escorted out, and as she was pulling off, I said, "Tell your daughter to give me a call." and from that, she said, "Why don't you get that little boy a chance at the store?"
She said the little boy.
Exactly what she said. Get a little boy a chance, and I guess the rest was history from there, and we just been together, inseparable since then.
Yeah. I love because I interviewed Lady Nesbitt prior, and she said she had a list. So was you anything like her list?
I don't think so. I think I took the list and ripped that list up. I was younger, and I don't know what else was on the list. I don't want to hurt my little feelings. So, but I don't. But she told me a couple of things that kind of X me off the list. But I'm grateful she gave me an opportunity, and grateful that she took her list and submitted it to the Lord, and let the Holy Spirit minister to her. So I'm thankful for that.
So you guys now, how many kids do you have?
4 in total.
4?
Yes.
How old is the youngest?
The youngest is 2, right before pandemic. He was born February 2020.
So how are you as a father? Was you always prepared to be a father, or?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, never was prepared. My oldest daughter, who is from a previous relationship, she's 19 years old, and come on, talk to me. Jump on in.
You look young.
I look young?
Yeah, you don't look.
Thank you very much.
You don't look like you have a 19-year-old.
I got a whole 19-year-old in college.
19. Oh, wow.
Right.
So going back, so you said you wasn't prepared.
Right, correct.
So was that because of did you have a good father growing up, or?
I did. My dad was a phenomenal provider, and from his context and from what it is that he had, I mean, he was a phenomenal dad when it comes down to instruction and teaching, just hard working and all of that. Not a Christian, so to speak. So hindsight, looking back, I what I was lacking I guess spiritually, foundationally from my dad. God had other individuals in my life to kind of make up for that. Bishop Virgil Jones and other father figures. I can name a bunch of guys that God put in my life. And my dad actually became a believer at our ministry. Yes, at our ministry. And so God was good. Before he went to heaven, he's in heaven now. But I would say that I had a phenomenal foundation when it comes down to being a father, with knowing what hard work and intentionality, taking care of your family. So from that aspect, I knew what I needed to do. But I don't think, from my perspective, I don't think anybody's prepared for being a parent or being a father, all the expectations. I was very young. I don't know how old I was, but I mean, we can do the math, but I don't know how old I was. But it was kind of one of those things that kind of surprised. And I'm still trying to grow and trying to mature and trying to develop myself. And now have this whole life that I need to kind of provide for it. That was challenging.
So what was your fears as far as surprise?
Right. just not knowing how things were going to be. The relationship with, to all due respect to my daughter and her mother, our relationship was kind of a little rocky. And so wanted to kind of see how that was going to work out. And then also myself, I was, at the time, I was just an assistant manager. I eventually became a store manager, but financially, make sure I can financially support. Again, being able to make sure I can be present, make sure I can be able to provide and protect and nourish and all those things that is expected of a father. I didn't know what I was doing myself, you know, let alone trying to now turn my attention on someone else. So it was challenging.
So how do you feel when you hear people who have children but don't take care of?
Well, I think that there's no, and of course, I'm gonna paint with a broad brush, and so this is her show. So she asked me, so I'm gonna respond accordingly. But I think that there's really. You have to. I say it this way. I believe that every man should fight to be in their child's life. I think that regardless of the situation, regardless of the tension, regardless of the turmoil, regardless of what's going on between the parents, that child didn't ask to be involved. But from a man's perspective, man, we're already 20 points behind, so to speak. You know, we can so easily be categorized or so easily be labeled as a deadbeat father or deadbeat dad. And so I think that we have to be intentional to fight to be there for our child. So regardless of maybe we have some challenges with visitation or challenges with quality time and things of that nature, even just seeing eye to eye with the other parent. I think we cannot allow that to stop us from being present in our child's life. So I don't think it's really an excuse.
I'm gonna throw another question now.
Okay, go ahead and throw it at me.
Okay. So people who are watching, some of them are trying to be in their child's life, but the mom is kind of, we can be kind of, what would your advice or steps be to that person who's like, you know what, I'm trying though? Right,
I got my advice would be to always keep in mind your baby. Always keep in mind your child, because fast forward 10 years from now, 20 years from now, it's not going to be acceptable to say your mama wouldn't let me or your daddy wouldn't let me. That's not going to be acceptable, not to your child. And I think you owe it to your child to fight to be there. So me personally, I had to humble myself. It took a lot of biting my tongue, took a lot of me getting rid of pride and how I want things to do and how I want things to be. It took a lot of that, saying, because it doesn't, at the end of the day, what was important to me was my daughter knew that I loved her and my daughter know that I was present in life. So there was a lot of times I took an L. I took an L and I took the low road and I took I'm not gonna say anything, I'm not going back and forth and all. I'm not trying to paint myself to be anything, because I'm sure on the other side can say the same thing. But from my perspective, that's what I needed to do, because I wasn't going to allow a little spat. Because take anything, take a little word or this or that to say, well, and it just blows up. And all of a sudden now, again, the child is left weighing in the balance between parents. So I had to be intentional and say, I'm gonna taste my words before I say them. I'm going to use my words carefully. I'm not going to be drawn in, pulled into any arguments, any pettiness, any foolishness. I'm going to keep the main thing the main thing. Have I always done that with 100% of flawlessness? Absolutely not. But I believe that's what I believe the longevity, and that's what helped me in the long haul, would always be present in my daughter's life. They're trying to find that middle ground, to find that compromise to say, well, okay, I'll I'll do this and I'll do that and I'll even bend on some things I don't want to bend on for the greater good of my child.
I was going to say that's maturity.
Right.
I'm going to say it again.
Yeah, I agree.
That's maturity, because sometimes we was going to Walmart, me and my husband, and there was a lady, you can tell that she was waiting. I said, I wonder if she's waiting for her child's father. He said, they actually do that? Yes.
Oh, wow.
To keep the peace, to keep a neutral ground, that's maturity.
Right.
Sometimes you don't want your child to see all of that.
Right, exactly.
So with that being said, you had so much maturity at a young age. Did you learn that?
That's from me hanging around old guys, hanging around mature individuals, mature believers. And so I'm probably what they call me the oldest young man. And because I just, when I became a believer, when I got saved for real, because I grew up in church, so when I got saved for real, the average person I hung around was late 40s, mid 50s, because these were the guys that were the pillars of our ministry. And so just a lot of listening, a lot of learning, a lot of being mentor, a lot of being coached, and just understanding what life is about, and keeping the main thing with my daughter. So that maturity was not so much of my own doing. I have a saying that experience is not the best teacher. I don't believe the experience is the best teacher. I think the experience of someone else is the best teacher. Experience is the hardest teacher. So a lot of things I was able to kind of navigate through. My father as well would say, you know what, son, don't get into it with this and don't do that. And so just me listening and learning from a lot of the older guys that God had put around me, I think kind of saved a lot of the heartache and a lot of pain. And then I knew that eventually things would turn. Exactly.
Yeah. I love how you had a community.
Yes, most definitely.
You said that your dad wasn't a Christian, but God placed certain people in your life, like Bishop Callahan and other people into your life to kind of mold you into the person that you are today.
Exactly. I am who I am because of those men. I am, and I can call them out. I can call from Bishop Virgil Jones Sr., Pastor Virgil Jones Jr., Elder David Ingram, who's in heaven, Elder William Brown, who's in heaven, Elder Leon Campbell, who's in heaven. Lord have mercy, everybody's in heaven. From Elder Vasco Eagle. I mean, and I can go on and on and on from these individuals that will help me with life and help me with lessons and help me with money, make sure I had gas money, make sure I had food, would take me under their wing, tell me to shut up, tell me to sit down, tell me all these things. And so having that community, which I call now, looking back at it now, is discipleship, having that community and individuals in my life, I think that what has propelled me. And when I say propelled, I say that in the sense of that's what I believe great mentorship and discipleship does in our life. It affords us speed, wherein these individuals in their time, it may have taken them to get somewhere in 20 years or in 30 years, but with their help, it's almost like a slingshot, it's almost like a catapult. These individuals can save me 10 or 15 years, and they afford me some speed that I can be able to attain some things, be some things, and learn some things, maybe ahead of schedule.
It's funny because when you look at society now, our men and our young ladies are kind of just like off in the wind.
Right, yes.
And so what you had, some of them don't have right now. And so I think it's such, we don't do them justice because we don't allow them a platform to catapult. Sure. So what would you say to, well, I got two questions for you.
All right.
So you do believe in the fellowship of men and helping that young man or woman, kind of nurturing them and giving them advice and all that to help them succeed in their purpose.
Most definitely. I don't think it's going to happen no other way, especially if you're talking about in the context of the kingdom. That is the model of discipleship. It's biblical. We need to have a community. We need to be able to do life together. We need to be able to love one another, to share with one another, the ups and the downs and all of those things. That's what real growth and development is. And I think that the challenge is in our day and time and our generation, my generation, I'm millennial, and the generations that are coming up behind millennial generation. I think that, man, we're go-getters. I think that, man, we're entrepreneurial in our spirits. We want to change the world. We want to help. We want to support. We want to do all these things. We want to take over. But I think that oftentimes some individuals forego a key word is called the process.
I was going to say this is step. This is step.
Exactly. And I think so. I think a lot to do with mentorship. Has to do with the mentee desiring to and willing to want to be mentored and desire that mentorship. It's nothing more difficult trying to help an individual who don't know they need help. And I think that is almost like it's like trying to dive in the water, trying to save someone who don't know they're drowning.
Right.
You know, you're gonna get yourself killed and they're gonna die because they're like, I'm not drowning, I'm good, but then they fighting with you and struggling with you.
And you're drowning, trying to save them.
Exactly. And I think that has a lot to do with kind of the mindset and the culture that we're in, because we have all these overnight sensations, so to speak, all these YouTubers and Facebookers and social medias, I'll say, has allowed individuals to appear to have overnight success, and it kind of go around, you know, the process or the steps, as you said. So I believe in that, and I think that we see that in the business, we see that in the kingdom. We see individuals who not necessarily are so keen on receiving the mentorship that's available. But I believe, yes, to answer your question, yes, I'm a firm believer in mentorship.
Oh goodness. Okay. So there's so much meat into what you said. So I guess my next question is, because social media is doing this thing where we just believe that, like you said, one night sensation, and it's truly, even if it was quote unquote one night sensation or one night, you know, it's not going to last. Right. And so we see so many of our youth getting sucked in, and it's like not even the youth, because us old people, we getting sucked in. We in there too. We all in there.
Yes, ma'am.
And so just to have that mindset, and I'm glad that you're speaking out towards that, because we need to go back in the mindset of discipleship.
Sure.
That's what it was supposed. Discipleship is in the formula.
Exactly.
And so if we miss a step, we can't get upset at what the outcome is.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
And so I want you to speak to the young people out there who are saying, I hear you, Pastor.
Right.
I hear what you're saying, Pastor, but I am a go-getter.
Right, sure.
I am the Lord gave me this idea, and I'm gonna go ahead and get it done. He said go, he didn't tell me to stop.
Right.
And so, you know what, I hear what you're saying, but it's I don't think that pertains to me.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's generally how things go, and the word is for everybody else but me.
Right.
But I think that when we have a good biblical understanding on what discipleship is, and even if God has deposited something on the inside of me, Paul says that, who do you think you are, that where you think you've received something from yourself? And in other words, everything that we know, somebody taught it to us. Everything that I am is because somebody has helped or deposited or done something. You know, I can't attain a thing or know a thing or be a thing without the assistance of somebody else. So if I have this world shocker idea and this thing that's going to turn the tide, the Bible tells me that there's nothing new under the sun. So just as this platform has become what it was 20 years ago, this never existed, or 50 years ago, something else wasn't before that. So the point I'm making is that there's always individuals that have trailblazed. There's always individuals whose shoulders we're standing on. So if you have something that's going to be generational changing, you need to find someone that is more experienced than you, more knowledgeable than you, that God has worked in and through, have the sweat equity and all of that, and submit to those individuals, and it could save you a whole lot of heartache and pain. Because what I've learned is that, again, the experience is not the best teacher, it's the hardest teacher. What I've learned is you're gonna come full circle. There's you got to pay the price of humility. Because as you said, if I don't, then it's gonna be gone. It's gonna be here today, gone today. So I have to pay the price of humility. I hear Pastor Brown say that humility is a platform for exaltation. So when I humble myself, then that's when I'm going to be exalted. But as long as I think I got it all and know it all, and I don't need no help, I don't need no instruction, no mentorship, no discipleship, no training, I'm going to fizzle out and it's going to come to naught. So what I'm saying is, you can save yourself 10, 15, 20, 30 years if you would just stick with the process. But what happens is we like to pick and choose the people that we want to listen to. We have all these individuals that we follow, all these coaching classes and all these master classes and all these things. And I ain't no shade, no tea on nobody. They do what they do. Do all you do and buy all your little classes and spend all your little money. Do it all you want to do. But at the end of the day, God puts people in our lives and God puts people around us that help us and that groom us and that shape us. And as long as I'm fighting against the cocoon that God has put me in, I'm just going to be going around in circles. I'm just going to be frustrated, and I'm not going to be successful, and I'm not going to be able to materialize and be able to manifest in the area that God desires me to do. So if I'm speaking to the young people, for all the people in the back, you can fight against this all you want. You have to submit to somebody. You have to go in whatever area. I don't care if we're talking about the kingdom, we're talking about the secular, no matter whatever realm you're trying to do what you're trying to do in, there's an expert in that area. There's somebody that's been where you are trying to go. They've done what you tried to do. And I believe that's what has helped me. Whatever little bit of I've done, it's been as a result of me humbling myself and shutting up when I'm in a room with somebody that knows more than me, shutting up and listening and having a long pencil, taking some notes, and actually not just hearing, but applying what it is that I'm learning.
You said a cuss word in there. Let me tell you what your cuss word. You said submission.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's a cuss word. It's a dirty word. Accountability. Ooh, cover your baby's ears. All of that. All of that.
We don't like to hear about submission. Oh my God, not in marriage, not in fellowship, not in the church.
No, ma'am.
So speak to that. Speak on that word alone.
I will not. You will not send all hate mail. but no. It is a dirty word, and it is something that gets us in a place to where we miss or we forfeit what it is that God has for us. I like to call it this way. I like to say that we are fugitives from growth. Whenever it is that I refuse to submit. Whenever it is I refuse to be accountable, that's the biblical motto. I can just go with Jesus and stop with Jesus. The Bible says he humbled himself. The Bible says that he learned obedience through the things that he suffered. He literally emptied himself of who he was to be able to take upon the form of a human being so he could be able to become what it was or do what it was that his Father desired for him to be. And I think a lot of times, man, we're not going to realize and we're not going to attain what we're trying to attain until we submit. And all it is really our flesh. All it is just the fact that we don't want nobody. I don't want nobody telling me what to do. I don't want nobody. No, I don't want to tell me what I need to be and showing up and doing all this stuff. I'm a man just like you. I'm a woman just like you, and all these things. And we get this from so many different areas. I'm not going to even tag it. We get it from so many different areas and places in our life. But I think it's the secret sauce. It's the secret sauce of my life. The secret sauce: submission, humility, service. You know, that's a real funny thing to say. You know, I'm proud of my humility. You know, that's an oxymoron. But I think it's a secret sauce to my life. Is a way that God has postured my heart, broken me down, not willingly, not because it's just something. Sign me up for submission. Sign me up for humility. But no, when God has crushed you and when God has got you to the place and you've seen the hand of God and seen how God will move in and through you through your submission, you see that's how God unlocks favor. That's how God allows you to go to another dimension. That's how God allowed you to go go wherever it is you're trying to go. Someone is already in that realm, already in that space, but you cannot get in that place or that realm or that dimension on your own. Somebody has to bring you in. Somebody has to kind of unlock it for you. And we want to go around people and just think we're going to do it. It's not going to happen that way.
Oh my God, Pastor Cobie. Look, okay. I got 2 more questions and then I promise you I'm going to stop.
You good.
I just love, because so many of us think that we got it and we can do it on our own and we can go from point A to point B to point C and I don't need no help.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And what you're saying that first of all, you need someone to pull you in.
Right. Yeah, gotta be pulled in.
That person that's going to pull you in knows more than you.
Yeah.
And then you was like, when you in a room, take your pen and shut up.
Right.
Come on,
exactly.
Jesus.
Exactly.
Come on. And so many of us think that we know it all, but there's an elder, there's someone that knows more than you in the business that's willing to teach you.
Right.
If you submit
Exactly.
And shut up.
Exactly. Yes, ma'am. And I think that because we want to be so cutting edge, because we have such a desire, our society has such a lust and such a passion to be a guru and to be the person that where you look at me like I'm the wizard and I'm the one that knows this. I think it doesn't take anything away from me to submit from you, to submit to you, to learn from you. It doesn't take anything away from me. I am who I am. And so I believe it starts with me knowing my identity in Christ, because whether or not you ever accept me, whether or not you ever share with me, and that's a whole other side of this conversation, where the responsibility is on that person to pull in. The responsibility is on that person to mentor, not just on the mentee, but on the mentor. So I understand that, you have some people who are of note, who have quote unquote made it, that they don't necessarily want to share their secrets and share their insights and all that. So that's a whole nother time, another conversation for another day. But at the same time, I believe that we want to be so cutting edge and be so revelatory and be so whatever that we don't submit ourselves to be able to say, you know what, I don't have to copycat you. I don't have to do everything that you say and agree with everything the way you've done it. But I can take it, chew the meat, and spit out the bones, or take it and pimp it. I like to call it Cobie-dize it. I can Cobie-dize it, then do it the way that God has uniquely designed me. I can't try to walk in somebody else's grace or somebody else's anointing, but I still can snatch from you, learn from you. I still can absorb from you, and still channel that through my own personality, through my own experiences, to my own context. I can't take how your household is ran and go and want to just take that and cookie cut and drop it in my house.
Right,
it's not going to work. Right. But I can peek in from a peripheral, and I can learn. And I can say, okay, I can do this and I can do that. Now, all right, that's just for them. And I'm not going to hate on y'all, but that's how y'all do. Right. And I can make it fit to my context. But I believe we miss that because we want to be so revelatory. We want to be so cutting edge. The Apostle Paul himself, listen to this. Jesus knocked Paul off of his beast when he was on his way to Damascus. He knocked him down. He interrupted him. He said, what are you doing? Well, you kicking against the pricks? You a chosen vessel? You and all of that? Jesus himself knocked Paul down, and he sent Paul to somebody else. I think we missed the end of the story. I said Jesus interrupted. We got the Damascus the experience, but he said, I need you to go to Ananias. I need you to go. In Acts chapter 9, Jesus collided with Paul, but then when Paul got up, he said, go your way. He was blind. He said, go, and I need you to find somebody. Jesus took Paul's hand and put his hand in somebody else for Paul to be discipled, for Paul to be mentored, for Paul to be trained. It doesn't matter how wonderful Paul was. He had to learn from someone, but I think we missed that. And so we have a generation that, again, the onus, the responsibility is on the mentee and the mentor. But if I'm going to receive from someone, I have to humble myself, and I got to know what I'm asking for. Because we'll say, I want you to mentor me. Right. I want you to train me. I want to be your disciple. We don't know what we're asking for. Right. We come to meetings, we're unprepared. We don't have no questions. We try to treat people like they're our equal. And so we're one in Christ. But at the same time, if you're in a realm or if you have done something in whatever sphere of influence, we're not on the same level. Right. And I think that we miss that. It's okay. I'm accepted in the beloved. I'm going to heaven. So it's fine if I'm not in your realm right now. I'm fine. So I'm still going to heaven. It doesn't take anything away from me. But at the same time, when I approach someone and I act as if I'm on your level, or like we're contemporaries, and I don't posture myself right. I can't get poured into if I'm not in the right posture. If I'm right neck and neck with you, I can't get poured into. I have to humble myself in order to get poured into. And so what happens is we're not well thought out. We don't have any notes. We don't have any questions. We're not listening. We're so trying to be impressive. We're so trying to let this person, well, I know this and I study this and I watch YouTube all night, so I'm an expert in that. And so we're trying to, a person who is literally trying to help and groom and shape, they're not impressed by us. That's the thing that helped me. Nobody's impressed by me. I've been shaped and molded by some of the best preachers in my estimation in the country, where I've been in fellowship with them, been friends with them, and been in the circles with them. Nobody's impressed with my preaching. Nobody's impressed with what I got to say. But I do understand and know that God has given me a unique gift and my unique personality and my unique whatever it is He's given me. I do understand that, but I can't think that I'm trying to impress press or trying to overtake or overstep and all that. I think that that's a huge flaw in our society. And I'm gonna be quiet.
Okay. Look, Pastor Cobie, we want to bring you back on the show because you said so much meat in these 30 minutes. I'm about being humble.
Yes.
About submitting. About it's nothing wrong if we're not on the same level. We still going to heaven. What y'all crying about?
Still going to heaven. Right. Exactly.
So that's all the time that we have. Oh my God. I just thank you for just being here and to share your wisdom and your knowledge just about being in a circle of people who's going to mentor you and submitting into that process.
Sure.
Yeah. So, guys, that was, Lord, I'm so sorry, y'all. That was it. Thank you, Pastor Cobie, for being here today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh my God. Till next time, guys, remember to love, pray, and be that beacon of light for the world to see. Bye.
Let's talk. In victory we win.